What's going on today, guys? Primal Sabbath here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Siege, War for Cybertron Siege. Fan Vote 3-pack was an Amazon exclusive, comes with the Translucent Blue Mirage, the Powerdasher Aragon, and the quote-unquote Decepticon Impactor. So I'm just going to kind of focus on my least favorite to my most favorite, and surprisingly, this one was kind of my least favorite. It's mostly just because I just don't like this mold. I tried making it work, and you can see I tried doing something that was kind of similar to the original red Powerdasher Aragon, as the former Transformers Collectors Club ended up naming him. Where it kind of evoked that original vehicle, very similar to Zetar. I didn't really see this anywhere. I've seen one for Chromar, and I've seen, I saw this one for Zetar, but there's Zetar in vehicle mode, just kind of as a comparison. I mean, they're not perfect, but I guess robot mode is really what you're going to kind of shoot for with these guys anyways. So there's that. But basically, I just kind of more or less left the legs as they should be, and just twisted this waist piece around, folded them up, and I think these treads come off on these little points, and I'll show it in robot mode. But if you don't have these guns here, he'll fall back off of these front wheels, but these middle wheels really don't touch the bottom, just because this piece where it plugs in just sets too low. If you want to, you can totally remove that if that's your thing. It's not my thing personally, but kind of as is, you're not going to get any rolling action out of these. And these arms just kind of put up here and tried to kind of angle them down to make it look a little more aerodynamic, because he was kind of like a sports car with just this big silver box just sort of hanging off the back. So that's ultimately what I was shooting for there with this guy. So if you want to do that, like I said, hopefully someone will come along with a better looking, better functional kind of alt mode. That's just the best. I mean, realistically, it's either this or just kind of going with the stock configuration for Cog, I think was his name. So there's that. But let's go ahead and get him transformed. I hate this thing so much. Not a fan. If I wasn't going for the team, if I didn't already have Chromar on the way and I didn't already have Zetar, then I wouldn't even I probably wouldn't have even bothered with this. So, but that's them's the breaks, I guess. So let's get all of this, just work some stuff around, and Zetar, I feel, has the better, just sort of series of pegs and holes and things like that, where Aragon here just really doesn't, or Cog or whatever, really doesn't. So before we kind of get a better look at them, like I was saying earlier, you can unpeg these treads, and you got these 3 pegs in a series, and they're just in a triangle configuration, and a series of holes right here. So if you want to, you can have them down about that far. You can move it up to about there, and then if you want to, you can have it up to right there. Or if you want to, you can kind of flip it around, and you'll find a just sort of sweet in the middle spot right here. It isn't the best connection flipping it around this way, but you have those options there if you want them. Personally, I leave them in the middle configuration here. So there is that. And these, if you want to, you can peg these back here. I think that's ultimately what I do for him, just to kind of fill this. You can't even see it. Just to kind of fill this back out a little bit more. So there is that. But just a real quick look here at Aragon. He does have a new head sculpt. Probably best if I just zoom in on it, right? So he does have a new head sculpt, and the paint is pretty clean, if I do say so. Let's see. It looks like it's painted black in there, and maybe it could be molded black, but with the bright blue eyes, and then just the little small yellow paint apps, kind of on the top layer of his little mask there. it's just super clean. It looks really good. I really do like it. So, real quick, let's get Zetar in the same kind of group shot with him. So let's get him out of the way and then get him in here. So the gang is almost all here. Almost. So there's that. I'll do the full comparison with like the whole team whenever Cromar gets in. Should be sometime next week. I'll be reviewing that. So hopefully that'll be here, like I said, sooner rather than later. But I think they look good. I don't know if I didn't extend it till it clipped. So yeah, right now, man, definitely Zetar is the best in my opinion. I like him the most out of these two. And it's just, I think, just because Brunt was a better kind of engineered, better put together, cooler figure all around than Cog. But I may end up liking Cromar the most because he does look pretty cool too. So there is that. Now let's get him out the way, and let's get him out the way. We'll bring him back in later. And now for kind of like my second favorite, I guess, is going to be this clear blue Mirage. So this is supposed to be like, Mirage obviously can turn invisible, but even though this isn't like quite invisible, it's definitely a BotCon 2007 homage, which, you know what, I'll take a BotCon homage, I guess. Originally, I was thinking about just selling this. Now, seeing where people have done some like part swaps between this and the retail Mirage to kind of get like a mid-phase, and I think it looks really cool. Personally, this seems to be overall the less desired figure in this 3-pack, and I'm pretty sure it's going to go for cheap, but I really can't wait to see what some of the customizers end up doing with this, essentially being like a blank slate, right? So I think if I find one cheap enough, I will probably grab it and then maybe do like a sort of like mid, kind of phasing paint job thing on him, you know what I mean? Just with some flat white, a little bit of orange, stuff like that, just kind of make all those details pop. His weapons store up here in the most ridiculous of ways. Now, I also, and shout out to this dude I follow on Twitter named Camzilla. I think people were experiencing some breakages on this little piece right here. If not, it was on these little pieces up here by my thumb, if it'll focus. So what I did was I took one of these. You can see it's been through some wear and tear, and I basically, like, you can kind of even see where I shaved them down. Let me get to focus there. And I shaved the front side here, and then I flipped these hands up just to get them out of the way so I wouldn't really cut on those, and then I shaved the inside right there because I believe even on the retail version, I mean, you can see just where there's like some kind of like stress just because it is clear plastic. But I believe even on the retail, this is made from clear plastic. But from here, it'll just kind of like slot in just a little easier. You don't want to force it. If you're getting any resistance, then go back and shave some more. But doing that will keep you from breaking off those little tabs or even that slot. So keep that in mind. It's unfortunate, but like dims the brakes, right? So anyways, that's Mirage in his vehicle mode. One last time, we'll take a look at him in robot mode. All right, and here we have Mirage in his robot mode, and he does feature the toy accurate head sculpt here, which looks very clean. You can see he's got yellow painted eyes. Now, it may be hard to kind of make out, but you can see in the reflection there's kind of like a bit of a dot matrix here, and like the whole like the number 26 and visages, which I don't know if that's on the main toy. I haven't seen any reviews for it, but I do plan on reviewing it. I should be picking it up literally as of this review going live, like tomorrow, right? But you have visages here, which was the name of his bar on the Lost Light, which I really do dig. Trying to see, this says CBC. I don't really know, and it looks like there's a little logo there. I don't really know what that's all about. So, and some of that other writing's just a little too hard to see, but I really like that whole Visages thing. I think that's so cool. And it'd be extra cool if that's on like the retail toy too, if they just kind of share that same sort of deco. But I'm pleasantly surprised with this guy. A lot more than I thought I was going to be. I really hope, and I know it's a stretch, and it probably will not happen. Like 100% at all, like not gonna happen. I want a G2 Mirage out of this, that kind of neon, like pink and green, total Miami Vice, like, color scheme out of it. I think it would be so cool, and we have this head to get it. We'll likely probably get that sort of red Diaclone repaint. It's easy enough, and I think it'll appeal to the lowest common denominator, which is unfortunate, but that's just how I feel, I guess. But this is by far probably the best Mirage mold we've ever gotten, at least in an official capacity. And you really can't compare it to to the Ocular Max, because I mean that's clearly a masterpiece, or meant to be masterpiece. Where this is definitely a mainline release. He's got a little looseness. It's not terrible, but it can be a little difficult sort of finding some balance, but ultimately I like it. And I like the way that this stuff kind of collapses into his legs like this. I think a lot of the pictures I kind of saw showed these either like kind of too far inwards or maybe like not folded up all the way, but this was originally something I kind of had some fears with. I was thinking that maybe it wouldn't have looked as nice, but it really does. So I do like that. He's got these pegs all over the place. He's got undersides of his arms, which probably is where these were plugged in realistically. But he's got one right here, so if you want some weapon storage, you can store his rifle back here, which, again, Beast Wars guy, I'm all about some weapon storage. And, of course, his kind of shoulder launcher traditionally is going to go up there. Would have been nice if it had a hinge. I think Matrix Workshop possibly is working on an upgrade kit. And then also if you want to remove this missile, if you want him to either hold the missile, he can hold the missile, which is silly. If you want him to have a little bitty missile gun, he can hold it with this peg as well. And if you want it mounted, you can mount it if that's your thing. That's your thing. Personally, I'm just going to leave it up here on the shoulder, and you can kind of rotate it. I like that they made it a circular peg and not a flat peg like Sideswipe, so if you want to, you can kind of rotate it out of the way, where with Sideswipes, it's just sort of facing forward. There's nothing you could do about it. And then you got this just unsightly peg just kind of hanging off here. Honestly, I could have dealt with them not even putting a peg on this little missile piece right here. I understand why they did it, but I kind of just wish they didn't do it. And like literally the only effect piece that I have from the Sideswipe set. So if you want to get that kind of action going, you can. Or if you want to, I guess this would probably look maybe a little more realistic. You can get that going if you want to. So you got options there. I do like that. Yeah, this one definitely surprised me. So just real quick, that is going to be it for the clear blue Mirage. So there we go, and you can just kind of angle these however you want to. So yeah, let's go ahead and get him out of the way for the time being. And let's focus on the star of the set. Of course, I'm going to love this one more than all of them. And that is Impactor. And this is Decepticon Impactor, if you're into that sort of thing. You can see he's got a little Decepticon tampograph up there. He's based very much so on his appearance in the former IDW comics universe and not the current... I call it the bland new era, but they pitch it as the bold new era of IDW Comics. So I don't have the retail one here just yet. Again, like the Mirage, I'm picking it up tomorrow. So I won't be able to compare these two directly in this video, but I do plan on comparing them in that video. Again, if you want to plug that there, you can do that. This is literally the only effect piece I have, so that's just it's probably the only effect piece I'll ever have. So just have to go through that. You can see the turret rotates, no problem. And this also rotates up and down. So you kind of have that going on. It's a very, like, Abrams-y looking tank, I guess. I think it's an Abrams. I don't know tanks. Daltonian TFs will probably be the one to correct me, unless someone else does. So I guess challenge, like somebody beat Daltonian's TFs to the punch. But really cool. I really do like this. I feel like the weathering down here is just right. Like it's not too much, you know what I mean? Just down here on the treads. And I think that's pretty much all there is, just all across the figure. So that I really do like. Instead of it being in just weird places and like even the silver here. Normally this silver would bug me over such bright plastic, but it just feels right, especially on Impactor of all the bots. So there is that. If you want to, I guess you could kind of store this back here just to get it off of this. It's like, what's the point of this if you got this? Also, if you want to flip that over, you can do that too, I guess. It's, it's whatever you want to do. Ultimately, but there's that. This whole piece is painted purple. I don't know why they didn't just mold it in purple and paint the tip yellow. And like you can see, there's even some like on the like you can see that like that's a yellow paint app and that's a yellow paint app, so a little bit brighter yellow than the molded yellow there. I don't know why they went that direction, but hey, that's why they don't pay me the big bucks. But I do like little subtle silvers that you get in here. Again, I don't know if you're gonna get that on. I don't know if we do have that on the retail version. So it's nice. Anyways, let's get Impactor into his robot mode, and then we can kind of do like one more comparison, and then we'll finish this up. All right, so here we have Impactor, the greatest Autobot the greatest Decepticon in this video that ever lived. Anyways, so this is the Impactor we really should have gotten, all things considered. I would be totally fine with, like, even if they would have gotten rid of, because, like, some new things that I know for sure are part of this is, like, so, okay, you see this little, like, purple kind of just piece right up in here? I think on the main retail one, I think it's painted yellow to kind of match the chest right there a little bit better. And there are no black and yellow stripes, no minor stripes, as they're kind of commonly referred to on it. And right here, this red is yellow on the main retail one as well. So let's get into some complaints, and then we'll get into what I absolutely love about this thing. The complaints is, and I've talked about it plenty of times, this didn't have to be hollow right here. They could have easily made the hollow bits like kind of on the back there, and like for the most part, I think if it would have just been on the back, like it wouldn't have showed through, because it would have stopped right there at that hollow stuff. So like really, unless you're kind of like just straight legging it like that. I mean, he looks great in A stance, like, but all figures look great in A stance. It just doesn't, like, I just don't like the way that looks personally. I understand they got to do it, and honestly, I spent $30 on 2 sets of leg fillers. I'm gonna fill these, and I'm gonna fill the main retail Impactor's legs. So again, man, that does kind of suck, and there's some more weapon storage if you so fancy back here. Personally, I don't like this gun, but it's kind of needed for alt mode, and that I also think kind of sucks. But I mean, if you want to, you can get him to hold his gun. He's got all these 5mm pegs or holes rather everywhere. He's even got them here because obviously he uses them. So it looks, I guess, like a traditional enough blaster, if that's kind of like what you want out of it. Me personally, I'm gonna peg it back here. Matrix Workshop is making a Last Stand of the Wreckers gun for him, which actually I think I got one here that I can get to momentarily. Let's see, let's get it out, because of course I'm gonna do like the comparison, right? The one that matters for this guy. But here's the one that came with MMC Spartan. This is, again, it's the one that Matrix Workshop's going to do. And it fits very tightly in there. Again, it also fits very tightly in Spartan's hand. Just a little too thick, but no 5mm is, I guess, universal, I suppose, if that's your thing. Also, he has a Decepticon logo, despite IDW Impactor never... not once ever being a Decepticon, not even like Marvel Comics Impactor being a Decepticon. Maybe telling for how they decide to characterize him in IDW's Brand New Era. So I'm kind of interested in that. I honestly think they missed an opportunity not doing a Wreckers miniseries out of Galaxies, kind of like right out the gate. Yeah, I get Constructicons and all that, but like your second one should have definitely been a Wrecker story. Now the things that I love about this, let's focus on the positives. So you can fold this in, and also the Matrix Workshop's coming with the Last Stand of the Wrecker's pistol and a little drill you can put in there, which is going to be more accurate and reminiscent to the reason he has these minor stripes, which I do like. Now, if you want to, and what I really wish Matrix Workshop would have also included was a new harpoon. So if you want to, you can peg this harpoon, this very neutered harpoon, in here. You can see it's got the little tips on it. So if you want him to kind of wield that, he can. Or let's since I got him here, like, why not, right? If you want to, you can use the harpoon from Mastermind Creation Spartan. I think someone made one of these on Shapeways as well, a harpoon. Now, like, as you saw, like, it kind of poked out some, so maybe the one from Shapeways is probably going to work out better. I think they made it for the Club Impactor, so that's one of those things I may grab a couple and do that. Kind of going back to one of the things I don't particularly care for is this is only on a flipper here. If you want to, you can totally remove it, and you have that as an option maybe, and maybe someone will come around and do a new shoulder cannon, one that will kind of utilize this peg but also feature some up and down, because again, and I understand there's like $100 price difference between these two, but like that's one of the cool things about this one is it has rotation, it has some up and down, so you got that. Let's get him back in here. So again, like, all this is probably going to be prevalent on the retail version as well. So like nothing particularly new here. But let's get into the exciting bit, which is this head sculpt. This is why this should have been the one that we got at mass retail. Look at that perfect noggin. That is IDW Impactor. If I can get it to stop shaking, that'd probably be sweet, right? That is IDW Impactor to a T. The sculpt, the mohawk, everything. Real quick, something I do want to point out, and I don't know if it's this way on the retail, but so you got to kind of like fold it and flip it around like that to get it in there. Getting this up and out is a pain, and I keep my finger keeps slipping, and my thumbnail catches on the mohawk, and you can't see any of that. But I'm afraid I'm gonna scratch it. Like, I've tried coming in here and like pinching it to get it up. Maybe you just gotta, maybe you can push in through here perhaps and just scratch all that yellow paint on his head. Yeah, kind of push in from the bottom side there. Of course, you didn't see any of that. I took this gun. Let's get it back in there. I took this gun. You can kind of, sort of. You really can't. It's too much shadow. But up in there, there's a little slot. And you just kind of put that gun through. It kind of gets it started, and from there you can just sort of fold it out like that. So that's I don't like that. I don't like that it's probably scraping that purple paint. I don't want it to scrape that purple paint, obviously, because the whole head is painted. It's painted silver, it's painted yellow, and it's painted purple. I don't know what it's even molded in. Couldn't tell you. If I had to guess, I'd say it was molded in yellow, but I like that kind of pale yellow that it is painted to closer match, I feel, the IDW, former Universe IDW kind of counterpart. So anyway, well, you know what? Let's put this in his hand, because we do have a quick comparison. So this particular Impactor, I think the 3-pack was $80, probably like 85 after taxes and all that. So here he is with Mastermind Creations Spartan, which is $120. So what's 80 divided by 3, I guess, is really what you're going to kind of shoot for here. And I think it's $23. It's, you know what? It's definitely not $23. It's like 20, hang on. Okay, yeah. It's like $26, right? $26, give or take, for Impactor, opposed to like $100, $120. I can't remember what Spartan's going for now. And of course, like I've got I'll put stickers on mine. And I may do the same to this, or I may take these off, because Impactor really didn't have stickers, right? Or faction symbols. He probably had stickers. I mean, he seemed like a playful guy. You know, and the colors here, there's a obviously a kind of stark difference. The more pale yellow here, the more bright yellow there. I think it's just like however you want to kind of interpret it, but you can definitely tell the inspiration here. Like, you know, you get the silver bits to kind of match up with these here. Again, like, ignore the minor stuff. I think there's a Ripper label set that puts minor stripes on him. That's all well and good. It wasn't for me. But the heads are definitely, I mean, you know, pretty spot on. And then one last comparison, like literally the best official Impactor up until this point. Here's the club one. And I really like this here, man, because like now I have an option of displaying Impactor before he had his combiner bits in, you know, the collector's club as wreckage. You know, kind of like as he was prior to. I like that. I like having this option. So I think this is really cool. And this is the pre-production sample. It was the closest one to find. So you're probably wondering like why he doesn't have guy liner in the second yellow hand. Just don't worry about it. So I like this. I like how they scale almost like just right with each other. So I think that's really cool there. So there's that. So yeah, like definitely Impactor wins this set for me. Personally, is it worth $85? Yeah, that's if you have Amazon Prime, you get the free shipping and blah blah blah. I think that's up to you. I like teams, so getting the Powerdasher, you know, this being the only way to get this, you know, third Powerdasher, appealed to me. I like the Bakhan homage that is Clear Blue Mirage. Despite not liking it really at first as a choice, you know, as kind of like, you know, like a selling point, right? And it comes with the toy head, which is really awesome too. And ultimately, I really like this Impactor. I'm still going to get the retail Impactor. I've got a place for it. But this is the Impactor I think we all wanted, and this is the best Impactor, in my opinion. And I think it's the best we're going to get for a long time through an official channel. I don't see us getting a better one. So, in my opinion, you know, it is like I'd go ahead and pay the $80, $85, whatever it is, after tax, and pick it up. It's a great set. I really enjoyed it. The artwork on the box is great. And I know I don't have the box here, but it's a pretty sweet box, just the way everything's sort of like packed in there. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments about this set, please leave them down in the comment section. I'll do what I can to answer them. And thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next review.